Welcome back to The Watch, everyone, and today we're talking about...
The Arrowverse.
The Arrowverse? I was going to say DCU, but I'm guessing
DC.
it's not. It's not really connected.
And I don't even think it's canon. I hope it's not canon. The Arrowverse. I don't like the
CW
Arrowverse.
stuff. They get pretty absurd sometimes. I know that much.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. CGI, and there's so much in there. It's just one of those things. So, how much do you know about the Arrowverse, the CW TV shows for DC?
So, Arrowverse, I've only heard good things.
What?
Yeah.
From who?
From people at school, from people who've watched it. They love Arrow.
Okay. So,
For example, I had one friend who loved his workout routine of like using the pole and then like going up.
right.
Like he was like, I want to be like that. Yeah. Outside of high school, I'm gonna be like that, Nathan. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so the Arrowverse is terrible.
So that's the Arrow stuff. But like with the Flash, I've
Arrow
heard
specifically. I'm talking about the Arrowverse because it's
Supergirl. I've heard is atrocious, and that is
yes. There's been the Batgirl. There's been the Flash.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a very long time.
Flash should have ended a few seasons ago.
The Arrow. They have their own version of Superman, which I'm personally not that feeling.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Again, it just feels like budget DC.
It is. It really is budget DC. And the reason why I don't think I like it as much is because what came before it was
So much better.
just perfection.
Yeah.
It was Smallville. You've seen Smallville,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Smallville came before the Arrowverse. And they set up their own sort of like, you had Aquaman and their own version of Flash and stuff like that in Smallville. And it was awesome. I loved it. Like, there's issues, but I love it.
And Smallville had this sense of like serious TV.
Yeah.
Like it felt very genuine, where like all of this stuff feels... Doctor Who is the best nerd I can think of. It's kind of dorky in many ways.
Oh, it's
Where,
worse
like,
than that.
Doctor Who at least has grown in popularity, and therefore its polish has gotten better, and it has some sort of like world building to it. Where, like,
Well, I mean,
DC...
the last couple of seasons, Doctor Who, oh man.
I ignore anything after like Capaldi and like his stuff. That's
Good.
when I fell off.
Everyone
Everyone
else
agrees.
does. Everybody agrees. Everybody else does.
But like DC TV shows actually have never gotten my interest.
Really?
I've never actually sat down and watched a proper full like season, or I've never been excited to watch any of them.
Well, I've had barely any interest in the CW stuff.
Yeah.
It's just so...
I've only watched it for the memes, basically.
Yeah,
The
I've
memes,
seen the
that's all
memes.
I've
I've seen the
watched
memes.
so far,
I've seen the bad edits. I've seen the CGI stuff. I've seen
never
the writing. It's
sat down and been like, I'm gonna watch a season of whatever.
Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because one of the co-creators recently has come out and said, basically, he got nothing out of working on all this CW-verse, the Arrowverse. He's got nothing from it. And that's really, really important because even people who work on things like the Snyderverse or Marvel, even like the most terrible of Marvel things, they get job offers. They can always find something else to go to because of their work in the previous
Think of the
things.
actors for like the Marvel movies.
Exactly.
They can go off and do whatever they want.
Yeah. So if a co-creator comes out and is unable to do anything, it didn't lead to anything, no connections, nothing good after the CW Arrowverse stuff, it tells a lot. It's like Ryan Johnson trying to find work after. It's like
true.
like, what are they called? The Dumb and Dumber from Game of Thrones. It's like them trying to find work after Game of Thrones season 8. There's a reason why you can't find work after you do these terrible, terrible projects. And the co-creator of the Arrowverse finds himself in that position. Then we also have that he spent $10,000 of his own money on the Arrowverse. Would you like to read this one out?
Okay, the project, a live-action adaptation of a semi-annual comic book series that made a significant impression on my psyche, was more than a labor of love. It was a labor in every respect and a project where I spent every ounce of capital. So just the way he says this, like every ounce of capital.
Yeah.
I would not spend all my money on any.
Okay, so what he's talking about here was a crossover event. And this was actually a really kind of a big deal. So it had the CW versus terrible mix to it, but it added a lot of things that were really cool. Like it had Tom Welling's Smallville Superman in it. It also had Brandon Routh, the one from Superman Returns in 2005 when he played in the movie. They also got him in that. So like it was a big...
That is pretty big deal stuff though for like DC fans.
It was actually really cool. I watched it specifically.
That is like far from home Spider-Man level stuff.
Yeah. I have very, very mixed feelings on the crossover event or like on the particular what he's talking about is because the Tom Welling Superman, the Smallville Superman, gave up his powers to live a family life, so he was powerless and he was no longer Superman, and that enraged me because I spent like 10 seasons of Smallville watching him go from to all the way to Superman to getting Lois Lane. Like, it's such a good Superman origin story,
and then he gives it all up.
For him to give it all up in that, it really. There's not many times when I actually get angry at stuff, but that, like, I was like, okay, I hate all of you. I hate everything now. But that's why I have very mixed feelings on it. But it was a big event. It genuinely was, getting all these Supermans together and all these sorts of other characters. So I can understand why he spent all his capital on this one thing, because it was a big event at the time.
Also, I find it funny for CW, their like big budget thing that he had spent his money on is $10,000.
Oh, well, I'm guessing he spent all the capital and then he went over budget, but he used his own
money.
Extra $10,000.
Like, okay, for me, $10,000, that's a lot of money. Yeah. I would expect us to make a pretty damn good short film with that money if I gave us that.
Yeah.
But
we could do that. Support us on the things.
Hey! Support us, and maybe we'll do some cool short stuff.
Yeah.
Short film stuff. Like,
short film stuff.
We're not talking about shorts.
Yeah.
But
we'll do shorts as well.
Maybe. Anyways, in terms of like $10,000, I feel like for a TV show, CW, maybe. But I'm like wondering, what is he spending it on?
I'm guessing he would have spent it on all the cameos, like all the getting everybody there. Because the special effects are obviously...
Yeah, I'm like, $10,000 for like some of those actors. I really don't feel...
No, but it's not $10,000 for the actors. It's $10,000 over... So just say his budget for the entire thing is like $1 million.
Yeah.
He spent $1 million, but then he spent also $10,000 over, and he used his own money.
So I'm really...
He spent his own $10,000 on top of that. That's what he's saying. But I'm guessing he spent all the money he had for the budget for that episode.
Yeah.
Plus an extra
$10,000.
Yeah.
Which, look, maybe makes sense if it's like,
yeah,
have the crew on for an extra 5 minutes so I can get that cool shot or whatever. And so he pays $10,000 for that. Cool.
It was a labor in every respect and project where I spent every ounce of capital I had amassed in developing DC comic related shows for Warner Bros. Over an 8-year period. I called in every favor. I used every chit. I burned every bridge. I even spent $10,000 of my own money. Afterwards, my phone did not, in fact, ring. Off the hook. Otherwise, fans loved what we did. There was tweets, there was posts, there was memes, there was much discussion, all of which was and remained deeply he remains deeply grateful for. Working on these shows, but the opposite of love was not hate. It was apathy, and no matter what, there was never any apathy except for, well, Hollywood. Nobody in Hollywood cared.
Yeah.
Basically.
Look, I kind of see that. And I feel like CW, they were never ever trying to suck up to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think Warner Bros. Especially was just trying to make a show that they could make as cheap as possible and would get people to watch. Like, it was
dirt
not
cheap. For relatively speaking, for a show, dirt cheap.
It was dirt cheap.
Yeah.
It's a TV show that they just want to play on, free to air or whatever. And people just watch and consume and networks just renew it and stuff. I feel like if you want to be noticed by Hollywood, maybe don't do TV shows like this. Like, maybe do like NCIS or like a comedy like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like
we have a different perspective on this because we make media.
Yeah.
And we know how to make good media, hopefully. And even if we had more time and more money, if we had the budget of just one of these episodes, what we could make with that. So I always think about it in the terms of like, they got this money and this is what they come up with. It always disappoints me.
Yes, but at the same time though as well, like obviously he had other board people to impress WB for stuff. But also I feel like when you're in this scenario and you're complaining that no Hollywood people are coming to call you, think, okay, have all your past decisions and choices led you to them wanting to call you? Like, for example, I think of Jon Favreau, wanted to get into making Star Wars.
Yeah.
How do you do that? You get your foot in you get your foot in Lucasfilm. You do some cool Industrial Light and Magic stuff with some live action, help in the tech section so you got some green points and you got connections with that industry. You help direct part of Rogue One. You like kind of inch your way in that way, where he basically just went off, did his own thing for this other network, didn't make any connections with the people really, didn't have much to show for it either.
Well, I think he tried with the crossover event to bring all the Supermans together to create some big thing that they'll be like, wow, that was really good, what you did. And what he did was...
But at the same time, right, I'm looking at it saying that is a fan thing. Fans go, whoa! Corporate people don't really go, whoa! Hollywood doesn't go, whoa! Like, Hollywood... If you had gone back 20 years ago, right, tell them about the MCU, Hollywood would be like, haha, superheroes popular? That's so dumb. Superheroes are for nerds, geeky kids, and no one cares.
That is a fantastic point. Hollywood doesn't care about what you do for the fans.
They are not, they don't care until it's making a lot of money and it's popular, and then suddenly it's the trending thing.
And especially when you have 8 years and the only memorable thing, because of all these terrible shows, is that one thing.
Yeah, that one.
And even that one thing, I personally... despise.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry that you feel like 8 years of your... Like, that would suck.
Yeah.
8 years wasted of your life that you feel like, okay, but what was the point of that? My career is dead now because of it. Yeah. But at the same time, you're going to think, okay, if that was your trajectory, if your life goal, your career goal was to get into Hollywood, then on the side, you should be doing other Hollywood projects.
Yeah.
Working with other Hollywood people. If they're like actors or stuff that maybe like some of the shows, get them... collaborating with them somehow.
And I think at the core of all of it is the shows just aren't very good.
Yeah.
It's always relative. Like, they're just not good TV shows.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of shows out there that have not big budgets, but are really good. And then there are, like, for example, there are some Netflix shows that have, what?
I'm waiting for big budgets, but are still trash.
Yes, they have big budgets and are still trash. And then there are Netflix shows that had... we've heard the rumors that they didn't have like giant budgets, especially compared to other stuff, and they've been pretty good.
Yeah.
So I feel like it always rests on whoever's directing and writing and designing props and sets and all those sorts of things. It always rests on those people. Like we had Halo.
Yeah.
We had Halo. Had awesome props.
You had so much money to play with, and you had so much reference too,
and you created trash.
So bad. But look. My thought is that, okay, if you wanted to get into Hollywood more, then you should try to make your way with the WB folk.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, maybe somehow collaborate with them on something else.
There is a quote where I'm not going to read it verbatim, but he's basically saying that James Gunn announced all the stuff, which we've already covered. Check out that video. And he wasn't invited to be any of the writers or anything like that. It's like, well... He obviously didn't... maybe James Gunn didn't like the CW verse either. I'm just
Probably
saying.
not. Yeah, again, it's just kind of a sad story of someone... I don't know. Is this a hopeless story of like he wanted to make something for the fandom somewhat respected him for it, but then he got completely shielded by everyone else who
maybe
would have given him the opportunity.
But then he ruined Smallville Superman, so I just don't care.
Yeah, you don't care?
I'm so mad about that.
Is this just an excuse? Is it like James Gunn now? This article's come out. James Gunn will be like, you know what?
Maybe I'll hire this guy.
You can do Blue Beetle for me.
Oh, God.
No one wants Blue Beetle or whatever the Beetle thing is. Like, I don't even...
Blue Beetle... I don't want Blue Beetle.
Why? Give us Superman, damn it.
I want Superman.
I want Superman!
But I think that's pretty much the summary of this article. Basically, he spent 8 years, which is a long time to spend.
That's so long. Also, after 8 years, especially making the CW, would you not look back and go, oh, somehow our quality is going down?
Yeah.
Why is no one watching our stuff? Like when it wasn't a success story.
Yeah, when they're making memes about your CGI, they're not doing it and it's like, oh, this is good publicity. No, it's like, this is trash.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that it's funny. Like, it's what people can do in, like, After Effects at home.
Yeah.
Like, that type of level.
Yeah, I think maybe this is just someone who either feels like they deserve something after all this time.
Okay, I can understand where he comes from in terms of you've worked on all this DC property, and then when you finished these shows, why aren't you offered like a movie or something properly connected in the universe? But that should just scream to you that what you were making was not good.
And at the same time, it's like, okay, should comic book artists get mad that they're not working for like the concept art for the next Batman movie or stuff like that? It's like, okay, if you want to get into that field, then you should probably make those connections. Maybe instead of waiting for a call someone and be like, hey, I worked on this for 8 years. I know my stuff with these heroes. I can like at least help in some way. Even if it's just being a writer in the room. spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
And then, talking to an executive that comes by, like, I feel like at this point he wants things to be handed to him. He's expecting things.
So there's hold on. So here he is talking about what he would have hoped for, and this is the quote here. But I'll be honest, I would have liked to get to have at least gotten a meeting, not a job, mind you, a meeting, a conversation, a small recognition of what I'd tried to contribute to the grand tapestry that is the DC universe. He continued. I'm sorry, man. Like I can't stand those shows, man. They're just so bad.
So, like, people, maybe disagree with whether or not the Snyderverse is good.
Yeah.
But I think it is better than CW.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the Snyderverse.
Yeah, there's issues with Snyderverse.
We are.
But CW.
But like, I would take Snyderverse any day.
If there was a CW cut of like a longer length of the season or whatever, no one would care. Snyder cut was like big, massive, and it changed things, and it was awesome.
And for years.
Yeah.
People asked for that for years.
And even now, we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
The only reason we're talking about you and your dumb shows is because now you're complaining about it.
I'm curious, do you think the Snyder cut, if it was released on, like, when it originally was supposed to release, it would have done better? Because I think about it, like, because what we got was so terrible. People they clamored for.
I think it is very much like a George Lucas thing of like everyone hates it until they realize they've lost it and then they love the thing again. So I think Snyder Cut's definitely a lot bigger, and with all the, fan calling out wanting the Snyder Cut released. But
I think so this is a little bit off topic, just about the Snyder. We love talking about the Snyderverse. I think the Snyder Cut would have actually won me back over into the Snyderverse. Because when I saw the Snyder Cut, I actually kind of there's issues with that as well.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I liked what he was trying to do and where he was going with the story. He was trying to get Darkseid in there. He was trying to set. I like a lot of that stuff. I felt like it was just the Batman v Superman where he killed off Superman too early. Doomsday was wrong. That was just where
that movie was in shambles.
Yeah, where we went off the rails. Martha, what is say, Mother? But Snyder Cut won me back around. I thought, hey, maybe this could have went somewhere that was not the worst thing in the world.
I totally agree. I think that if we had kept going on with the Snyderverse, we would have eventually gotten something that... Well, because, like, I think with Snyderverse and Marvel, right, we're in the stretchery of, like, Snyderverse is getting better, Marvel's getting worse. Eventually they'll cross over. Marvel will crash, and Snyderverse will, like, come in. Yeah. Like, at the end, it's going to be, like, a Blue Shell Mario Kart type thing of, like... Yeah, so... But... Unfortunately, much of that, CW's also dead, Marvel's downhill, and James Gunn doesn't seem to know what he's doing either.
Yeah, and the DC is looking grim currently.
Everything's looking grim.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying not to be black-pilled, but there's like no hope for superheroes right now.
Yeah, man. Oh, there's like the Invincible season 2.
Yeah.
And look, there's The Boys that's going to be coming.
There's The Boys, there's Invincible, there's the new Spider-Man game, new Wolverine game. Like, in that sense.
I am excited for the Deadpool Wolverine movie.
That too, man. That is the one thing I'm like...
Okay, so...
It's just going to be fun. It's going to be a fun movie.
I am so worried about introducing the mutants into the MCU.
Yeah.
That terrifies me, like how that's going to work. But for that, I don't care about that because I don't care about the MCU that much anymore. But... I just want to see Wolverine and Deadpool movie. I just want to see that.
That's all we want.
As long as that's not ruined, I'm happy.
And like, I've loved the Deadpool movies.
Yeah, they've been great. They've been fantastic.
They are meta in the good sense, unlike She-Hulk.
I think it's also Ryan Reynolds. He's really good. He's perfect.
He's really good, and he cares a lot about the characters in the project, and it's actually funny, and there's cared lore, and it's like... There's so many things to love about those movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're gross and gratuitous and whatever. But hey, everyone was so keen for an R-rated Marvel movie.
I'm sorry, when you say that, it just made me think of like Baby Legs, Deadpool, and then Baby Legs, MODOK.
Yeah. They're the same picture. Like, that's where that meme fits in there. But yeah, like in terms of things to look forward to with superheroes, like basically that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm sad, right? Because it feels like Hugh Jackman is like always wanting to retire. Like with Logan, that was a good movie, but then he's like,
really good movie.
I'm done. And then like Ryan Reynolds is like, come back for one more, and he's gonna be like, I'm done. No. And everything else is gonna suck, and we're just gonna be stuck with like, come on, can we get one more good superhero movie that's not connected to the MCU that just isn't a trailer for the next movie.
I love how we started off with the CW verse, then we went to the
Well,
Snyderverse, and then to the Marvel.
It all connects.
Because it's all connected.
It's all connected. And the truth is that, like, as much as everyone says, like, superheroes are trending right now, they're the big thing, we're not getting fatigued with the hero aspect.
We're getting fatigued with the terrible hero
Yeah.
aspect. We want more heroes. Like
I don't think there's any fatigue at all when you think about it. It's just bad media that we're not interested in.
Yeah.
The
Like,
reason we're not getting calls is because the CW wasn't worth it. No one's going to see the Flash or Arrow and be like, oh, who did this?
But
Get him on the phone.
But I'm pretty sure they're swapping out the Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash, with the CW Flash.
Really?
I think.
I'm happy with that.
I
but
don't know if that's true, but I think that's what's happening.
I think he's just going to... No, he's not. They can't.
I'm pretty sure it's
Like, he's going to be in the movie, but he's not... I know it's about the Flash movie. That's a whole other...
That's a whole other...
I don't think Ezra Miller's going to go away.
I think he will. I think the movie will do terribly.
I think so too, but I think he's still going to stick around.
I don't
There
think
is something. There is some dirt that man has, or connections that will... He's going to stick around.
If he does, then I just won't even give DC a chance.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Like, the end of that movie is going to be... I think when we go and review it, because I'm so keen to do that, we're going to all... What's the last movie I walked out of and was just like, wow, they actually did that.
Yeah.
Probably Rise of Skywalker.
I don't even want to think about that. I'd stop bringing up all the terrible stuff.
That was the last movie that I walked out of the cinema and thought, wow, they spent so much money, so much time. That was just a corporate slug.
Anyway, that's been our roundup of all the universes. They are all got problems, and they're all looking pretty grim.
And maybe instead of complaining about not getting a call someone about it.
Yeah.
Maybe, how'd you get the job to begin with?
Yeah. Maybe you can do some animated stuff. Like, animated stuff is a lot easier to do these days.
And you get respect for it if you do a good job.
If you do a good job.
And you know what? Actually, that's a good idea. Because on that, CGI isn't an issue because it's all animated.
Exactly. Exactly. The effects will be much better.
Sorry. In my head, I just see, like, stick figures of, like, then Superman goes, and here's Batman, and then it's over there. Why am I not getting any calls for, like, from, the big guys?
But I think that's everything. Is that everything, Nathan?
I think that is everything. Everyone, thank you for watching. Support us as usual. We appreciate it. And as always,
stay and watch.